Is this it, or this is just a tester? This is it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Unless
okay.
you need to warm up your
Do-
voice or something.
No,
It can be whatever
probably
you
not.
want. Yeah.
Seriously.
Vocal exercises.
Okay.
Help whenever you are.
I hear voices, I hear voices, the ghosts of empires past. I hear voices, I hear voices, the ghosts of empires yet to breathe their last. I hear voices, I hear voices, not like I got any choice in this. But first things first, says one who died of thirst. I see a half-empty glass. Voices, I hear voices, singing all the world is drunk and turning green. Singing heave-ho, over the side we go, throwing up into a rising sea. Society wedding, East Coast embedding. The military marries into industry. The drinks are flowing, let's all get blasted. Enjoy it while it lasts. Harry Truman raises his glass to Churchill for warming up the sea for his ass. The happy couple are already in the family way. Fossil fuel catches the bouquet. Voices, I hear voices, singing all the world is drunk and turning green. Singing heave-ho, over the side we go, throwing up into a rising sea. Nature's just been sick, she's had a skinful. Gallows humor in the seventh circle. Petrodollars make the world go round, but the arms trade tells it when to spin. A series of blowbacks waiting to happen. The shrinking space between the grinding plates, between the last drop in the glass and a harder place. Unknown unknowns join the race. So the library book of the world is too long overdue. What's a poor planet supposed to do? Supposed to do? Supposed to do? Black budgets, all new targets. Professor Rumsfeld wants to get his wicked way in space. There's still space, so much space to deploy new ways to destroy this place behind the logs that keep the truck bombs out. St. Augustine guards the gates with his golden gun. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All God's children sing along. Voices, I hear voices, singing all the world is drunk and turning strange. Turn, 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 the planet turns. The whole landscape is changed. Voices, I hear voices, singing all the world is drunk and turning blue. Turn, 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 a revolution or two. But which way? What's a poor planet to do? What's a poor planet to do? What's a poor planet to do?
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That was fantastic.
Okay.
So we'd like to welcome everyone to Worst Music You Ever Heard. And we have Danbert nobacon here,
Hi.
A famous celebrity.
straight from Leeds.
Leeds, yeah.
And he's here to promote his current tour through
Tour of
Philly.
the States. Yeah. Up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, I got a handful of little concerts.
3 right here in Philadelphia, amazingly.
This is kind of our holiday gift to everyone, having such a large celebrity on the show. So,
That's right.
I'm only 5'7".
well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a good size.
It's a good place to view the world. Can we say where you're from historically?
Historically.
Your band?
Uh,
For those who don't know. I know you don't want to make it about the band.
no, I don't mind. No, because that's part of...
yeah, forget the
But of
band.
what
This
I
guy's
am.
gone solo right now.
I know he's gone solo, and I don't want to step on any toes by bringing up the band, but I would like to say.
Okay, you don't have to. It's not a big secret.
Okay, well, I was really excited. So you were sort of one of the founders,
Yeah.
and the lead singer for Chumbawamba.
Yeah, one of the... We had like 3 singers really at the front. So I was one of the 3, and there were 8 people in the band, and we began in 1982.
Which is more than 20 years ago. So
It really is,
yeah.
And we sort of did it as sort of a passion and a hobby for quite a long time, and then we realized we wanted to make a living from it in the early 90s, so we gave up all our college courses or part-time jobs and just went on the road around Europe and sort of built it up that way. And then by complete fluke we had this enormous one hit which brought us to the United States for about the 3rd time. We'd done a couple of tours here. For like probably a period of 18 months we were just constantly touring, or more often than not going from place to place to appear at radio stations rather than play actual gigs, which is what we loved most. And it was an absolute blast, to be honest, you know.
And I read that you played with all these great other bands and people, so that must have been fun.
Yeah,
too.
well, every December, as maybe you know, they have like radio shows in America. So all the big radio stations, they get whoever's big that year or whoever's big in rock history, they get them to play a show at like Madison Square Garden.
All right.
And the particular year we did it, Hanson played, we played,
Sweet.
Bop.
and Aerosmith. We were on just before Aerosmith.
Friendships were formed. Are you gonna let
Yeah.
Hanson guys tight? You call them all the time.
Well, not exactly. No. And like we played with like Michael Bolton in Boston, and you know all these.
It was an odd year for music. No, I mean I guess every year is.
But of course they dust now the Christmas shows because it's the Christmas podcasts, which are breaking the ground, obviously.
There you go.
Right. Well, so what are your main musical influences? I know this is kind of a
Oh,
cheesy
yeah,
question,
but
but
yeah, maybe who were you listening to, or who were you playing with that influenced you?
I suppose going way back, anything from Johnny Cash. Me and my brother watched an old Johnny Cash film, I think, when we were like 10 or something, and even though we didn't get what was going on, it was one of the prison shows, and it had this big impression on us. I think he just had the attitude or something, and he had this deep voice, and we liked the way he talked. So and then like the Beatles, and then when I was 16, that's when punk rock happened in England. So I lived in a smaller town in the north, so it came like a year later, really, from the big cities. And
I wanted to ask about that because we all love that Don Letts documentary. I don't know if you know about it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
called Punk Attitude. Yeah, and we loved watching it. So I wondered if that had an influence on you because it talks about all the bands that were sort of
Yeah.
around and.
yeah, well, that era, I mean, all the sort of English bands of that era are so probably more. So I never saw the Sex Pistols, but I saw quite a lot of them.
I mean, I hate to do this to you because I'm sure every time you talk to anyone, they're always asking about Chumbawamba. But I was looking up some of your early album titles and song titles.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought they were hilarious because they were obviously sort of activist
Yeah.
things like vote against Proposition 53 or something. You know, those kinds of titles really stood out to me, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wondered how you felt. Like, you had so many years of doing that sort of thing, I guess, just judging from the titles. It was all this activist stuff and counterculture kind of stuff. And then you became popular, I guess, here and all over the world for a song that was really lighthearted, and I read was written about a guy who was drunk outside a bar.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about, like, your big song was sort of one of the more lighthearted ones and not sort of the stuff you had been doing for years? Or is that kind of how you planned it? You said...
No. It when we wrote it, it was just another song on that album.
So you didn't think this is going to be our
No,
hit?
no, not at all, no. And at that time, the record company we were with were having their own problems, so they were about to dump us.
Wow.
So we ended up leaving them just a little bit before they would have dumped us anyway. And we finished it with our own money and went back to plastering for a short period of time.
So you financed the recording yourself?
Yeah, we had a decent enough contract so we could do that. We'd been lucky or astute to, when we went into it, to have an exit route. And then so we had this finished album, and our managers started passing it around, and people in the business, in inverted commas, were suddenly jumping up and down about this song.
Wow.
And saying, "Oh, you've got a hit record," you know, before it was even released. But we just thought, well, great, you know, and then all of a sudden we got these major record companies coming after us, and we said, yeah, we'll go with this, we'll try it, and we'll have a really good laugh for a year, and then they'll dump us. But it lasted longer than that.
Yeah, a few years, right? At least.
Yeah. So, but, you know, it's funny because, you know, people even now, they say, oh, I heard it on the rugby game in Leeds, or...
Oh, right, they're
whatever.
still playing it at sports
events. It was a big sport
events.
thing,
Yeah.
but it was also it was also I mean, there was a guy doing an ice skating routine to it, and they were like,
Is that like the like point where you like look at yourself and you're like, what the hell
well,
is happening?
it goes to such a point where you lose control and you just have to.
You don't even know, right?
You can't have you can't control how people will interpret it. A song, you just have to.
Oh, wait, didn't an American politician use it on his
A
website
few of
or
them,
something?
yeah.
And...
John Kerry used it at one point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bob Dornan, and what's the Jesse Ventura?
All right, Jesse Fincher.
But you can't really, you know, they're supposed to ask for permission, and if they do, you can say no, and if they don't, they just play
They
it.
just use it, right?
So, and then it was on like the services radio in Iraq.
Really?
Which was really weird because I sort of thought about it and I thought, well, this is 6 or 7 years on from when it was a big hit, and those people who were 19 or 20 were like 13 or 12 when and they were requesting our song on like this British Forces radio, both GIs and British troops. But it doesn't really work because if you get hit by a landmine or whatever, you're not likely to get up. I mean, some of them probably will. So I have this nightmare that, you know, in like 5 or 10 years time, some film company will say, yeah, we're making this film about the Iraq war, can we use your song?
Oh, no.
And they'll have these people, amputees,
right, like with one
getting
leg.
up.
Oh, it's terrible.
So, yeah.
But you know, if it raises their spirits.
Well, I saw this documentary just before we left England. I saw a documentary which was all about the fact that Bush had never been to a funeral, a military funeral. And it was interviewing a lot of the people who'd been injured and saying how many had been injured and how many had been killed. And they had this like amputee specialist, and he was saying a really high percentage of people who lost limbs were going back because the prosthetic limbs are so sophisticated now. They can just repair you and send you back into battle.
Oh my gosh.
And it was insane.
Don't they have the right to say they don't want to go back? Or
I
do
guess
these people
they do,
want
but,
to go
but
back?
quite a few of them want to go back.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if it was like 30% wanted to go back.
Didn't lose this hand for nothing, you know?
Go back and finish the job.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
So let's have another song. What was that first song, by the way?
Oh yeah, what was it called?
That was called The Last Drop in the Glass.
Okay. And then we'll talk after this song. We'll stop talking about Chumbawamba.
I'm sorry, I just
Okay.
had to ask. I had to ask.
And we'll start talking about your newer work.
Okay.
Holy moly, rock and roll. Is that the devil's music I hear? Turn up the dial on the radio, I don't think so. The devil saw his skinny ass on a run. Holy moly, call rock and roll. Plays a fundamentalist lament. George back in business, heaven sent. The devil saw his skinny ass on the run. 2,000 years of a shifting sand leaves a hell of a hole in the holy land. Holy moly, holy war. Even Jesus don't know who he is anymore. Holy moly, sweet rock and roll. Is that the devil's music I hear? Turn up the dial on the radio, I don't think so. The devil saw his skinny ass on a run. Did you hear the one about the children of Abraham? A Christian, a Jew, and a Muslim. They only all gone and got the same God on their side. The devil saw his skinny ass on a run. Neocon, Bin Laden, symbiosis. Southern Baptist jump in bed with Zion. Get your ringside ticket for Armageddon. Selling fast, devil's ass on the run. Why worry your head about a little global warming if it's all part of God's plan? Fill up the Hummer, slam the accelerator. Here we come, oh kingdom come. Holy moly, sweet rock and roll. Is that the devil's music I hear? Turn up the dial on the radio, I don't think so. The devil saw his skinny ass on a run. Turn up the dial on the radio, I don't think so. The devil saw his ass on the run. Unless of course there ain't no devil and there's only God when he's drunk.
All these songs have the quality of making you want to go, woo! At the end.
That's my wife.
I get excited. I don't get to go out and hear music, so I'll I knew that was going to happen.
They're even breaking glasses in the house.
Anyway,
Anywho.
we're back with Daniel No Bacon playing some songs for us here.
Danbert. Daniel.
Damn it.
Danbert.
I effed it up already. Okay.
No bacon.
We're back with Danbert No Bacon.
Hi.
Let's talk about the name for a bit. Where does that come from? Jesse looked up some research on this whole thing. So.
Okay.
I read this like biblical account, like this begat, Bert Bacon, begat Danbert No Bacon. I mean, the big string of names. It referenced all the liner notes from your albums.
Okay. I don't know which one.
Like AKA this, AKA that. What
Sure.
does it mean to you? I mean, all these different names.
I had some songs and we put out cassettes before we put out records back in the old days.
Wow.
and I had to think of a name to put on there. And
Why not your real name?
my real name?
Yeah. Not exciting enough?
Not exciting enough, no.
Oh, okay.
My nickname was Dan, so and at that time I was into vegetarianism, so the first joke I ever heard was a knock knock joke, so we'll do it on. Okay, knock knock.
Who's there?
Egbert.
Egbert who?
Egbert no bacon. So for some reason I just thought, well, I'll just adapt it as Danbert. And
Okay, I like Egbert, but Danbert's good too.
yeah.
I like it. Very nice.
So let's talk about your musical talents here. Guitar, voice, right? I mean, I'm sure you went to you're in boys choir for many years and
No.
moved up from there.
Did you like get your guitar when you were 13 and just start playing?
No, I'm a
or-
really late developer in most things, and music's no exception. I mean, I probably got a guitar when I was 17 or 18. I'm still not. I can play a few chords, but I'm not totally proficient in any respect, really.
But what drives you now as a musician? I mean, you've obviously reached a certain level of success, which we talked about earlier. But there's got to be something that's still pushing you to write music and to have people hear it.
I think it's a form of expression that as a late teen I chanced upon, really, because of punk rock in England and the idea that anyone could get up on a stage. And the first time I ever got on a stage was an absolute revelation, because I'd never done it. And suddenly we were there and we had these cobbled together songs, and there was a bright light in my face and I couldn't see anyone. I thought, wow, this is great. I'm really enjoying myself. And that adrenaline from performing is, I suppose, an outlet. And then along with that, it became an opportunity to say things, or to act the fool, or to be an exhibitionist, or a lot of things all rolled into one. Because I'm doing it on my own again, it's like suddenly I'm rediscovering some of that teenage enthusiasm for playing. It's a different kettle of fish on your own to being with a band. With the band, I didn't play an instrument. I just was a front person performer. We used theatre, and so in some respects it's really restricting having a guitar, because I can't fool around much. But with the sort of ideas or lyrics or imagery, I don't know, it's just what I've... And also I'm like nearly in my mid-40s, and I can't really do anything else.
Really?
Besides sit and play your guitar?
And I don't want to go back to plastering.
No, but it's interesting. It seems like these songs especially are not with any commerciality in mind necessarily. They're kind of from your own.
No, I think over the last few years I've also you rediscover things, or you find new things, and the people I respect are they're often bands or people I go see, and maybe they have a CD out, but there's no great commercial potential there, but there's just a passion or a quirkiness or a geekiness that appeals to me.
I think from our perspective though, I think what really attracts us to a lot of music is that emotion, that the song is played with and that the story is told with.
Yeah.
So your songs definitely have sort of far-reaching subjects, though. Like, it's not like you're sitting down and writing songs about necessarily personal things, even though they come from your personal beliefs. It sounds like these are songs with a message that are intended to, really reach a wide audience.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's funny because this last year, I mean, even before, my day job is trying to write a history book. So that's what I've been trying to do. And somebody said, oh, why don't you come and play I have this place where bands play, come and play. And I thought, oh yeah. And then it got to 6 weeks before, and I thought, shit, I better write some songs, because I don't want to play the old stuff from 15 years ago. And because I'd been doing all this research, my head was just absolutely full of things, and it just flowed out into the songs, and it's still still sort of coming, really.
That's really fascinating, though. I could see how that, studying all of that history, because I feel like Jesse and I always talk about this, like this year especially, for whatever reason, we're going through like this, like a major period of learning, like you do.
Yeah.
And asking why more, why, things that are so entrenched in our own culture, we're trying to examine as well.
You read these stories and these mythologies, and then you see, science on top of it all, and you kind of get consumed in that world, and it, your brain starts to work a little differently. And I could see how studying what you're trying to study, you would be completely caught up in that. You couldn't do anything but have it pour out of you in some form of expression.
Yeah. So playing music was really just to get me out of the house and away from the computer.
Out of the library. And
But it's taken on a life of its own, which is great because I'm really enjoying it. So
this is his third birth into the world of music. Anyway, no, it's been great having you on. Really appreciate you stopping by. It's been fascinating. We knew you'd be an interesting person to interview, regardless. And we have to thank Dr. Rich Wexler.
For making this contact
making
for
the
us.
connection,
Yeah.
and of course mention that you're having shows at the Green Line and the Tritone. Tritone's on the 26th,
That's
day
right,
after Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll most likely be there. I think we plan on coming. And when's the Green Line show? The 29th?
29th.
The 29th. Okay. So you can find out more about that on the websites we'll link to after this last song. What's the name of the one?
Oh, yeah. What was the name of the second song?
I have to insert.
I know. Cut it up and.
Holy moly.
Oh, great.
Holy moly.
It's kind of like Johnny Cash a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. And look, you're the Man in Black too.
Yeah, no,
I'd say it looks like you have a big influence from Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
What's the name of this last song?
This is called Christmas 2062.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
And this is, I'll just explain a little bit because I was doing all the history stuff and I thought, well, I want to write something completely different in the music. So I started writing this fictional musical which is set in the year 2062. And this is a scene from a bar on Christmas Eve in the year 2062. And it's just about to turn midnight. City almost looks pretty seen through the window of a yellow taxi. Darkness brings out the best shades of gray. Party's over. What, already? Afraid so. It's Christmas Day. Just another Bloody Mary, sir. Holy Hosanna in excess. The conception was immaculate, yeah. What about the birth? I was there. I tell you, just watching. Marijuana, gas and air. We'll dance nowhere. Joseph's pulling out his hair. Oh, don't look at me. I'm just a lowly shepherd boy. What do I care? This city almost looks pretty seen through the window of a big yellow taxi. Darkness brings out the best shades of gray. Party's over. Oh, yeah, I heard you the first time. Anyways, as I was saying, Gloria, ooh, just another little drinky, sir. Me and my new buddies, we're just getting started here. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Shouldn't you guys be home and in bed? What do you care what I do? What do I care? Christmas. Christmas 2062. Hark, hark, the dogs do bark, the herald angels sing, the anchorman carps, rivers frozen, it's 20 below. You wanted snow, oh we got snow. Gloria, ooh, just one more for the road, sir. Somebody hail me a cab, put it on the tab. There ain't no taxis tonight, boys. I think you're walking home. Read my lips, no room at the inn. Christmas 2062. Happy Christmas 2062.
To find out more about Sherman Arts, who is sponsoring the performances in Philadelphia, go to www.shermanarts.org.
For more information and future shows and future projects, go to probably the news page of chumba.com.